You've probably heard of the Dyatlov Pass incident, right? It's one of those stories that just gets under your skin. For decades, it's been this epic, unsolved mystery, with 9 hikers found dead in the Ural Mountains under just the most bizarre circumstances you can imagine. People have blamed everything from secret weapons tests to aliens, even a Russian Yeti. But today, we're gonna push all that aside. We're gonna look at how cold, hard science, physics, weather, and human biology has finally pieced together what is, frankly, a terrifyingly believable explanation. So, let's get into it.
And it all kicks off with this one single chilling detail. I mean, think about that for a second. Whatever happened on that frozen mountain, it was so sudden, so horrifying that 9 experienced hikers decided the best way out of their only shelter was to slice through it with a knife and run out into a blizzard, not use the door. This one action is really the key to the entire puzzle.
So to really get the answer, we have to understand the question, right? We need to go back to 1959 and look at the scene the rescuers found, a scene that seemed to completely defy all logic.
Okay, so here's the setup. The group pitches their tent on a slope that the local Monzil people ominously called Dead Mountain. They were supposed to check in on February 1st, and then nothing. It actually took almost 3 weeks for anyone to even start looking for them, and when rescuers finally got there, what they found? It wasn't just a simple accident. It was this frozen, silent, and totally chaotic scene.
And this is where things get really, really weird. This is the stuff that has fueled conspiracy theories for over 60 years. You've got footprints from people with no shoes on, bodies found way far away from the tent, some just in their underwear. And get this, the most disturbing part, some had these brutal internal injuries, like they've been hit by a car, but with no external marks on their bodies at all. No bruises, no cuts. It just made no sense.
So what in the world happened here? What kind of force makes seasoned mountaineers run from their only shelter, scatter in the freezing dark, and die in such violent and contradictory ways? Well, as it turns out, the answer isn't a monster. It was a perfect storm of completely natural events. And that perfect storm starts with the place itself. The spot they chose for their tent, it wasn't just cold. It was this uniquely dangerous place where the very laws of physics were basically setting a trap for them.
So, the first piece of this puzzle is something called a katabatic wind. And you shouldn't think of this as just wind. It's more like an avalanche of freezing air. Basically, super cold, dense air pools at the top of the mountain, and then suddenly comes rushing down the slope at hurricane speeds. This alone would have created these incredibly punishing, brutal conditions at their camp, and it played a huge part in what was about to happen.
So you've got this insane wind setting the stage. Now you just need a trigger, right? The actual physical thing that kicked off the panic. And in this case, it was a killer that can move in total silence and leave almost no trace behind.
All right, I know what you're probably thinking. An avalanche? Come on. The rescuers said the tent wasn't even buried and there wasn't a huge pile of snow. And that's the classic argument against it. So how could an avalanche be the answer? Well, because it wasn't the kind of avalanche you see in the movies.
This is the absolute key right here, a slab avalanche. It's a totally different kind of beast. Think of it less like a big, fluffy cloud of snow and more like a giant dinner plate of solid, heavy snow sliding all at once. It doesn't need a super steep slope, and it can crack and move with terrifying speed. It can absolutely deliver those crushing injuries the kind of hikers had without burying everything or leaving the huge, obvious clues of a typical avalanche.
This really breaks down how the trap was set. The hikers, trying to get some shelter from that crazy wind, cut into the snowpack to set up their tent. They had no way of knowing it, but by doing that, they created the perfect weak spot in this precariously balanced slab of snow. So hours go by, and in the middle of the night, that weak point, plus the sheer weight of the snow and those pounding katabatic winds, it all came together. The slab cracked and slid, crushing a part of their tent with an incredible amount of force.
Okay, so the physics are in place. Now we shift from the physical event to the psychological one. The avalanche didn't actually kill most of the group directly. No, what it did was spark a series of fatally human reactions to an absolutely impossible situation. I want you to just imagine this for a second. You're asleep, it's pitch black. You're woken up by a deafening crack and literally tons of snow crushing your only shelter. You have no idea if an even bigger, deadlier avalanche is just seconds behind it. Your only instinct is survival. It's to get out now. And in that moment, rational thought it flies out the window. Pure primal instinct takes over. And that's why they cut their way out and ran without shoes or coats. And this has always been the single most haunting question in this entire story. It's the detail that makes it feel supernatural. It seems to defy every basic human instinct. Why on earth would someone who is freezing to death start taking their clothes off? Well, the answer isn't paranormal. It's buried deep inside our own biology.
It's called paradoxical undressing, and it's a known, though pretty rare, medical phenomenon. It's a cruel, cruel trick of the body. In the final stages of severe hypothermia, your body's whole temperature regulation system just fails. The blood vessels that were clamped down tight to keep heat in suddenly open up, flooding your skin with warm blood. To the dying person, it feels like they are suddenly on fire, and in their confused, delirious state, they try to cool off by tearing off their clothes. It's a tragic, final, and entirely biological act.
All right, so now let's put all of these pieces together. We've got the weather, the physics of the snow, and the tragic reality of human biology. Let's reconstruct the final, terrifying hours of the Dyatlov group. So here's how it likely went down. Around 9:30 at night, the slab avalanche hits, injuring some of them inside the tent. In total panic, they slice their way out and stumble downhill towards a tree line to get some cover. But in the darkness and the blizzard and their confusion, they get separated. The cold sets in fast. Some of them desperately try to start a fire. Others succumb to the injuries they got in the tent. And the rest, delirious from hypothermia, just wander off until they too freeze to death. It's a devastating chain reaction of natural events and human responses.
And really, this is the main takeaway. When you put all the scientific evidence together, you just don't need a supernatural explanation. The truth is a combination of a delayed slab avalanche, those brutal katabatic winds, and the predictable, yet unbelievably tragic effects of severe hypothermia on the human body and mind.
And maybe that's the most profound and chilling conclusion to the whole Dyatlov Pass mystery. The story is so terrifying not because there was some monster hiding in the trees, but because it shows how a series of completely natural events can line up in just the right way to create a scenario that is way more bizarre and deadly than any work of fiction. It's just a reminder that the most powerful, and sometimes the most frightening force on this planet is simply nature.